My name is Vivian, and I'm going to be presenting about misogyny in social media. In this presentation, I'm going to be going over the purpose, its affected audience, its importance, organizations, and next steps for this issue. First, let's go over the definition of misogyny. Misogyny is the hatred or prejudice towards women. Addressing this issue is not to villainize all men, because misogyny is an action and is not tied specifically to the male gender. So what is the issue at hand here? According to an article about cyber violence, it says, algorithms used by social media platforms are rapidly amplifying extreme misogynistic content. So the issue with this is that constant exposure to misogynistic content leads to the normalization of it. And this is harmful to women in real life because of how much social media is being exposed to people, especially our age, and how this can really affect their behavior in real life. So like I said before, online behavior builds offline behavior. With most people having increasing screen times, the content they view has become more and more influential in their lives. This is because social media influences our mindset, our relationships, mental and physical health. So how does this relate to misogynistic content? Well, there's a study done by UCL, University of Kent, and the Association of School and College Leaders, which found that after 5 days of initially suggested content for people with loneliness on TikTok, it had increased recommended misogynistic content, which includes objectification, sexual harassment, and discrediting of women from 13% to 56%. There's not much of a connection between loneliness and misogyny, but as we can tell from this study, it's more of the algorithm's fault for suggesting misogynistic content to people who appear lonely on social media. Now I think is a good time to clear up the difference between sexism and misogyny. Sexism is discrimination based on sex or gender. So that means it can go for both men and women and other genders. For example, this could be something like boys can't cry, or boys can't show emotion, or women are weak. Sexism is kind of like an umbrella term for misogyny. Misogyny is specific to the discrimination of women only. Now I'm going to talk about who is affected by misogyny. By now we should all know that the main group of people affected by misogyny are women. So how are they affected? The normalization of violence against women can cause, but are not limited to, suicide, emotional and psychological distress, violation of privacy, public humiliation and exposure, damage to reputation, and job loss. There are many, many more ways that the violence can harm women, because what we see on the internet can very easily reflect into real life. Although there are no specific laws against cybermisogyny, it can still be addressed under existing laws regarding harassment, extortion, voyeurism, etc. The issue with this is jurisdiction and inability to apply the laws to all instances, because for cybermisogyny to be considered a real crime, it would have to be extremely harsh. There was a bill, Bill C-13, that was passed in 2015, which prohibits sharing non-consensual intimate images, which does help with the issue of cybermisogyny. However, it would still be extremely difficult to criminalize such an act. Now let's get into why acknowledging this issue is important. So, cybermisogyny is a global issue because social media can be accessed almost anywhere in the world. This also means that it's very easy to spread because of the way social media is. And as we can see by these stats, 58% of women have experienced online harassment, while 50% experience more online harassment than street harassment. These numbers are important to look at because it supports a larger issue at hand, which is how something online can translate into in real life. An example of both of these points is Amanda Todd's case. Amanda Todd took her life in 2012 after becoming a victim of revenge porn by the hands of a man all the way in the Netherlands. Despite everything being online, it had a very real effect on Amanda's mental health, leading her down a hole of self-harm and drugs, and then eventually suicide. This is a clear example of the effect online misogyny has on women and how it can occur no matter how far you are from someone who actively engages in cybermisogyny. These are common instances of cybermisogyny that I have personally seen online. Their sexualization of women in comment sections regardless of how much skin is showing or what action they're doing. There's always hate towards a woman who's doing nothing wrong, leaked intimate pictures of women despite their age. So there have been instances where a minor has had their intimate pictures leaked, and the sexualization of young girls. As a woman, I am at risk of cybermisogyny, but fortunately, I have not become a victim of it. However, I am exposed to it happening towards other people every single day because I use social media every single day. Under every viral TikTok or video or post of a girl, there always is a sexual comment about her body when there was no sexual intent in the content itself. A prime example of this is the TikTok account with loads of content of a woman's child named Ren Eleanor. Ren is only a toddler, yet has fallen victim to the cybermisogyny. And although the mother is mostly at fault for posting a child that young, the number of now deleted comments and amount of saves on videos where the child is accidentally swallowing gum, saying, "Mommy, I accidentally swallowed it," or wearing a bikini is clear evidence of the sexualization of a child simply for being a girl and existing. Cybermisogyny has been around ever since social media was a thing. However, only recently it has been brought to light. One of the organizations that talks about it is Canadian Women's Foundation, which was started in 1991. Their purpose was to create a charitable foundation to support women against sexism, cybermisogyny included. It allows victims of instances such as this to apply for grants and spread awareness on their experiences. The relation to cybermisogyny is that this foundation is extremely large and touches on lots of topics all relating to sexism. With cybermisogyny falling under this category, all campaigns and donations apply to victims of cybermisogyny. It also includes a page with facts and statistics regarding this. They have a campaign called #ActTogether, which encourages people to take specifically digital action, such as web-based petitions, social media sharing, and online meetups, to end sexism and support survivors. The second organization is Women's Legal Education and Action Fund, also known as LEAF. This was started in 1985, and its purpose ensures the law guarantees equality for women, trans, and non-binary people. Along with a lot of other actions they take against sexism, their relation to cybermisogyny is that this foundation provides a report on deplatforming misogyny written by Cynthia Koo, which focuses on the online hate towards women. LEAF doesn't currently have any campaigns targeted towards cybermisogyny specifically, but has several projects focusing on factors such as accountability, online hate, and gender-based violence, which can all support the stand against cybermisogyny. Their other initiatives include donations, partnering, and volunteering. So for my vision and take on cybermisogyny, I would say that there should be stricter online rules and restrictions set by these social media apps, because a lot of the time, a lot of content gets pushed past these regulations, which further encourages cybermisogyny. There should also be increased awareness of this because of how normalized it is online. I feel like people should be more aware of this issue. Advocating to fix social media algorithms, which is similar to the first one, and providing resources and support towards women affected by cybermisogyny, as well as men most vulnerable to promoting cybermisogyny, which would be mental health resources, because it is found that men who are lonely or tend to have lower self-esteem issues will turn to this type of content. Finally, the most important part of all of this is awareness. Awareness is important for any movement to work. Thus, in order to gain awareness for my vision, it would need social media exposure as well as in real life exposure. This would mean putting up posters, spreading the word, and making connections with influential people in order to get my vision out there. Online tactics would include forming a website and accounts on popular forms of social media such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Thank you so much for listening.